Okay, moving on to the second section on this handout. I know that we have done some simple finding the inverse of the function. These are going to be a little bit more of a multi-step, so I just wanted to run through a couple of these with you. So we're going to start with number 9. Okay, again, h of x is just a fancy y. So in order to find the inverse, I'm going to swap x and y and solve for y. This was my y equals, so I'm going to change it to x equals the cube root of y minus 3. I am trying to get the y by itself, so the first thing I have to do is add 3 to both sides. Okay, x plus 3 equals the cube root of y. Now, just like the same way that we undo a square root by squaring it, we're going to do the same thing here. So the inverse of the cube root is to cube it. If whatever I do on the right side, I have to do on the left side. So that leaves me with x plus 3 cubed equals y. I'm not going to go ahead and multiply this out. I don't need to do that. I have y by itself. This would be my function. It's in vertex form. I know this thing is going to be a John Travolta, and it is going to shift left 3. Okay, so we would leave that. My proper notation, though, would be h of negative 1 of x. I'm using h because that's what my original was, equals x plus 3 cubed. Okay, let's do number 10 together as well. It's a fraction, so I know fractions get a little tricky. This is just a fancy y, so again, they're just going to swap. X equals 1 over y minus 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 2 to both sides. X plus 2 equals 1 over y. There's a couple different approaches that we could do at this point. Okay, we could put this over 1 and think of cross multiplying so that I would have y times x plus 2 equals 1. Okay, the key here is we don't want to distribute this. If I distribute this to everything in here, it's going to muddy everything up. I'm trying to get this y by itself. So right now it is by itself. So I don't want to put it with 2 other things. So what I'm going to do is divide by x plus 2. That's how I undo division. Okay, so y would equal 1 over x plus 2. The proper notation would be g to the negative 1 of x. That was the inverse. Now, I'm going to show you starting from this step right here. Another way we could think of that is we could treat it like any other fraction, and I could divide both sides by y the same way we did earlier in one of the examples we did in the homework or in our notes. Okay, so here I would get y times x plus 2 equals, these cancel, 1. Now, this looks very similar to what we just had. We have the same thing. So whichever method that you want to use, if you want to cross multiply or if you want to multiply by the inverse, that is fine. Okay, so at this point we're going to divide by x plus 2 again. So y is going to equal 1 over x plus 2. And using proper notation, the inverse of g of x equals 1 over x plus 2. So again, once you get to this step, you can pick whichever method that you like the best. You're going to do this same process with the rest of these on this section.